So here's a really interesting consideration, and I have to give credit where credit's due. Those of you who subscribe to my channel, fellow hobbyists, board gaming enthusiasts, wargaming enthusiasts, role-playing enthusiasts, I've always said, well, first I want to say thank you. Thank you for taking literally time in your life force to listen to my ideas, share ideas, comments. But I've always referred to you as my secret weapon because there's this idea of the meta in gaming, meaning your experience is physically what you play. And you learn a lot and you get tactics. But through the magic of YouTube, you get to step out of your meta and literally travel the universe. The consciousness travels the universe, getting ideas and being exposed to different ways of thinking, different considerations through subscribers and friends and other YouTube videos and vlogs, podcasts, that every now and then, often it's like, wow, that's a great idea. I never thought of that. And on the board gaming side, there was some comments, and I was kind of going back and forth a little bit. We were looking at old board gaming commercials, Space Crusade, Hero Quest, kind of classic early 90s, mid 90s type stuff. Now that assumes you were around at that time and remember those commercials, but even if you don't, displacing kind of the cheesiness of them, if you look back, this was the interesting observation. If you look back and the tech level at the time, computer tech level at the time, you always got to look at tech level. These commercials cost a ton of money. So this idea of you have a game that's marketable, you've got production, you cut and keep that production cost down, you're looking to maximize profit, you've got to get the word out and kind of spread the idea that it's available. And at that time in what? Toys R Us or other big type of stores. Not even really gaming stores, although some did exist. The way to push that out was TV, was commercials. So you have massive costs, massive production values, just to do the special effects of some of these. Again, at the tech level at the time, I mean, I can't even imagine how much they cost. And on a side note, I've been trying to track down some costs to get an idea and then just plug that in and say, $20. Pushing to YouTube today, YouTube is the marketing. All of these companies getting free marketing. It's genius. It's more money. It's more profit. So I've got my game. I keep the costs down. I try to pay production costs and the intellectual costs, keep that to nothing. Web 2.0, you do the work, I keep the money. And now instead of having a chunk, manufacturing is overseas. So that's as low as possible. And the budgeting for marketing, whatever that used to be, now that's next to nothing because I have YouTube doing it. Either enthusiasts like you and I who are passionate about the hobby, we're giving away free marketing, whether it's an honest assessment, a good review, a bad review. But you have what I like to label the board gaming mafia. This idea of well-established board gaming channels that do a fantastic job that in themselves are almost publishing houses with their scope and their production and the tech, and they're passionate about board games, but they're their own kind of subcontractor entity, and these companies are pushing out and having them do all the work, and the companies get to keep all the money. Now, I do realize that this kind of tier, I can't name any names, but there's some of us who review these board games and share our opinions because we've purchased the game ourselves. We want to support, and we're passionate about the hobby. There are those that get free production copies or pre-production copy. Nothing wrong with that. And while the industry doesn't want to talk about it, and hobbyists don't want to talk about it because they need to maintain their image, and again, capitalism, nothing wrong with this, because they are putting out fantastic content, there are YouTube channels that get paid and get paid a lot of money, crazy money that, well, that's all we'll say on that. They get paid crazy money to produce this. So it's almost like these board gaming companies and Kickstarter companies have completely outsourced the marketing. And talk about disruption to the model. Well, the 90s is what, like 20 years from now, 20 years ago? No more than that, right? Looking back, that time, this idea of no one could have ever foreseen that. it's 1995 and Space Crusade came out. No one would be like, hey, there's this internet where everyone's going to do everything free and we're just going to mail them a game. They're going to do all the work and we'll keep the profits. That's amazing. That's insane. So it's interesting just in that amount how the hobby has evolved. And ultimately, while the costs and profits might have shifted, I do think it is a good thing. I don't want this to come off as negative. I do think it's a good thing because you have multiple YouTube channels, multiple production channels pushing this stuff out, smaller channels, enthusiasts sharing it. What that means is there's incentive to do this. There's more profit to do this. There's more games to be put out. The only really hardship we have as board gaming enthusiasts is that, and this is a great problem to have, there are literally so many titles out there, so many games out there. Where do we go? There's just not enough time. And in true board gaming fashion, every time I'm like, I'm done, my collection's good, I really enjoy the titles I have, something new comes out and you're like, whoa, I'm sold. I'm in. And ultimately, that passion is because so many of these other channels share and push out that enthusiasm and that passion in their own production.